Gemini. Gemini is mutable air, ruled by Mercury. Gemini is a planet you walk through, you go through, you connect with, and use as communication. So that's what you're using elementally, energetically, whenever you are communicating, speaking, requesting something, making any kind of deal with anyone, making any kind of decisions, really. It's ruling the marketplace, so any decisions you're making, it's falling in the realm of Mercury. So this is what Gemini is about. Gemini is about language, about words and using words in inventive ways, very inventive. An old god, a Greek god that was ruling Mercury, or was also known as Mercury in their Roman counterpart or relation, was Hermes. Hermes, and he's often symbolized with the caduceus. I don't know if you know what that means. It's a symbol you've almost certainly seen. It's the symbol of two snakes, and they're intertwining about a rod, and that's a symbol that's used for medicine. It's been used for medicine for a very long time, and Hermes did rule medicine as well, and transformative energy, which is a medical technique, an imaginative technique. So the caduceus, that's the staff, and there's two snakes going upwards, and their heads like this, meeting towards each other at the top. So that's a symbol to meditate on when wanting to strengthen your Mercury connections, your Mercury manifestations and visions. So Hermes was also known to have the magical flying winged boot, the messenger of the gods. So Mercury, the messenger. Mercury was the fastest, it is the fastest moving planet in our solar system. Mercury is the smallest planet. That's the planet closest to the sun. So it's Sun, Mercury, Venus, Mars, Earth. Going on from that, I apologize if my solar system is shady. So you need to know that about Mercury, and that's why you might hear much about Mercury retrograde in the witchy community. Mercury retrograde happens 3 to 4 times every single year, because Mercury moves so quickly and travels around the sun 3 to 4 times a year, and that's why there are periods where Mercury appears from an astronomer's lens to be moving backwards. It's an illusion that Mercury seems to be moving backwards. Mercury doesn't move backwards. No planet really moves backwards, one way only. So that's an illusion, planetarily. So what can we say about Gemini? Gemini's symbol is the twins. So that ties in pretty good to the term Mercury. They use the word mercurial. What does mercurial mean? It means a personality that is very changeable, maybe has higher highs and lower lows, more temperamental, more having to do with temper and temperance and tempering. Mercury is liquid silver. That's what scientists of the old days named Mercury, which is one of the first elements on the periodic table. So this is information that is useful to any of you who are seeking to have a better understanding of alchemy as well. These terms and planetary meditations will help you as well. So mercurial, that's very changeable, very high highs and very low lows emotionally. So colors that I associate with Mercury are a yellow, a golden brown, and anything that requires this quickness is gonna be something that is involving Mercury to some degree. There's a quickness to this zodiac sign, and it's very about being witty and quick to the uptake. So I would definitely imagine Mercury as being something you need to have in order to do these other things. You need to be a strong communicator to have your goals become reality. You need to be able to speak them to make them happen. They're not possible until you've imagined them. They're not possible until you've given them life and you can breathe the life into them, and it requires direction. So Mercury is an air sign, mutable air, and air is a masculine sign, making it a projective sign. Gemini is going to have more to do with anything that requires a climbing of ladders. They're going to be a touch invested in status, and it can be a negative thing. There's definitely a high quality finesse to this sign, and they may have high standards, which is an impressive thing. Very clever, very mischievous kind of sign and temperament is the Gemini energy. That's the twins. There's two. It's very easy for this sign, or in this sign, to turn from one side of your aspect that is more poignant and more big to its opposite side, and to go between these two at will, and very, very much, on the beat, and maybe a touch catty, you would want to call it, but you might call it a bit catty, or a bit ready at all times, very ready, and changeable, and spontaneous being the positive side. Mutable signs typically can be considered a bit flaky in their negative, since at times your changeability might be a funny thing to witness. It might be something that is well needed. Definitely it's needed, though your changeability might lead to dropping out of commitments with a quicker hand than your brothers, sisters, and more in the other two multiplicities. So mutability, that's changeable. So that's an art. It's an art to be changeable with grace. Very graceful. Very graceful. Very adaptable. Very able to adapt when crisis hits, when something happens and there needs to be some kind of quick decision making. They're not ashamed of being quick to, get something over with, and not dawdle about how to decide it. So that's something to watch out for. If you start finding yourself spending too much time making decisions, not letting yourself just pick the thing you've already set your mind at somewhere at the back of your mind, that's the Gemini power, is to go with that. Just release all of these extraneous new worries you've started letting in, and let yourself just dive in like you always do. Dive in, and you're going to figure it out as you go along, because that's a mutable quality, and power. That's a mutable power. Being able to go with the flow, change something, and pick up things as you go, and just figure it out by the seat of your pants. And that's the power. That's the magic that you have. So what else can we say about Gemini in terms of correspondences? Gemini rules from May 22nd to June 22nd. Hermes and Aphrodite. I believe that it would be a good thing to consider, in terms of having an androgynous kind of feeling. Though Gemini is technically a masculine oriented sign, there's an element there that's very androgynous and slim, very cardio based. If this was a workout program, there's something very cardio about Gemini. Gemini's body part that they rule are the lungs. So that's something to meditate on when you want to get closer to your Gemini. Gemini rules the lungs. So Gemini knows all about the nervous system and breathing, air, and vocalizing, how to vocalize the most efficient way possible.